Welcome to Cars in Korea. I introduce newly released Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia cars. I am at an experience for this awesome Kona N. But actually, I pull out the camera for a different one. By the way, just check out this beautiful paddock here in Korea at Inja Speedium. And it's because of this car right here. And you guys are thinking, a Genesis G80? Well, we've seen that like a year ago. This is Genesis E G80. Zoom in here. This, I see the G for Genesis, if not G matrix pattern. And can you guys tell where the boundary is? It's right here. And I don't think I can open it, but then, yep, of course, yeah, it wouldn't open. You have to open it from the inside. And you don't even need me go through this, but completely covered front radiator grille. However, there is an opening at the bottom. Here you can find, I believe there is no flap. There is not. So that remains open 24/7, unlike some of the variable flaps underneath, like that of Ioniq 5s and whatnot. And come over this way. One thing different from a recent EV cars is that there is a duct right there opened that carries down from the front to the back like that. And normally that is covered up in recent EVs. Have a feeling of that because well, essentially this is the Genesis G80, so they couldn't necessarily change the whole thing for this car alone. So hopefully there is a head-to-head comparison for this, but then there isn't. But there is this chrome molding underneath that looks somewhat like a front splitter, but that's also concaved in right in there. And most of the front is covered with the undercover, as well as some of the flaps. Unlike what we have seen on 3.5 turbo model, the grille underneath here was different, differentiating the G80 from that of a 2.0 turbo, where the darker chrome was embedded for this underneath, but then that's not it. Once again, it's body matched, color matched. And it would only make sense that the headlight remains the same as the emblem, as well as the proportion just throughout. Let's go around. Again, the wheels are different, and 245, 45, 19 on the front. I don't think it's a square. It's bigger on the back, and of course it is 275, 40, 19, abundantly found on these types of cars. A sedan for comfy ride and so on. Once again, we can see that this car is a tester, and that's because, for those that's been following, you guys know what I mean by this metal plate with 4-digit. That means the car is for the research and development purpose. And also it's missing Genesis emblem, so before it made the debut at the showcase, it was probably all camouflaged and it was running down on the streets of Korea. And also, I don't think I've seen that on G80 before. This part right here seems different. The remaining parts of Genesis G80 stay the same. The top part and the bottom being connected with Genesis emblem, stretched out Genesis emblem right here. So that's a shield with wings going left and right. And also a lot of information and detail about Genesis G80 was covered on its original release. Go check that video out if you're curious about the G80. Trying my best to make the reflection show you the interior. So the button seems exactly identical. It is It's got the PNRD button, exact same layout. The way you move the car, I think it's exactly the same, except this car being an EV, of course. One tip for you to tell if the car has been built from the bottom up as a sole EV is for you to see where the charging port is. If the charging ports are on the rear, somewhere on the right, or somewhere on the left, that means most of the cases that the car has been built as an EV car from bottom up. However, if you come around, usually found on other cars that has been turned into an EV from a petrol or diesel model, usually they have the charger ports on the front or on the back, because they throw in the motor where the engine used to be, and there is not enough of a place and such in terms of the structures and design and whatnot to have the charging ports go on the rear too. And if you have been driving on EV, you know if it's much better and convenient to have the charging ports on the back of the sides instead of having one on the front or the back. Even the mirrors stay the same, a camera for the car, but a difference is the solar glass on top. So that is something that a regular petrol Genesis does not have, obviously. All right, so this is underneath of Genesis EG80, and if you look over there, there is an undercover right underneath the lower arm as well, of course symmetrical to left and right, and that is because it creates the best and most smooth airflow underneath the car, so that's less of the drag, also adding on to higher and better driving distance. So we can see that the undercover is like completely connected all the way back to the diffuser, and it also has this diffuser as well. It's not just for the looks, but obviously this is functional and it's for the practicality. And also, let me give you some numbers on this Genesis EG80. The battery on here is 87.2 kilowatt hour, and also the maximum driving distance per charge is 427 kilometers, and also supports 350 kilowatt fast charging, which boosts up the battery from 10% to 80% in 22 minutes. And this car is also equipped with DAS, which allows to go back and forth the two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive freely, so it maximizes the battery and the performance. This wheel is turbine-inspired wheel, which has been found out and known that is one of the best wheel design for EV cars, reducing the air drag and adding on to better driving distance. And on the back, you can also see that there has been the exhaust tip delete. So that's what was missing. I knew something was really off. There is no shield exhaust tip. I mean, the fake exhaust tip has been there for years now. Might as well just keep it there, because honestly, I personally believe that exhaust tip is also a part of a car design, because it's been with us for so many years. This is my friend's car, and right here is where radiator grille is all open, and also come underneath there is a different color for the bottom of the radiator grille. Again, no solar roof on G80. And by the way, I love this color. And also the exhaust tip, and he's got some beautiful spoiler as well as the rear diffuser extended. I really do think that this car needs an exhaust tip. It is just beautiful, and that is like the last piece of the design that finishes the real design of the G80. So come over this way. It's not as evident as it was on EG80, but there is also a cut right here on gasoline model. So we can see that this has been borrowed straight from gasoline model as we have suspected. And a regular brake to an upgraded brake. There are two Genesis G80 left and right. And G80 also has the upgraded brake.